how to get an impractical INFJ to be motivated enough to get a job because they, for some reason, think money is going to magically fall out of the sky. But before I can answer this question, please consider subscribing to the channel so that the Lego company notices me and makes a Lego set out of C.S. Joseph, and hit the alert bell so you can be notified when I go live. That being said, what's up, Ego Hackers? This is C.S. Joseph Responds, here to answer your questions on anything Jungian analytical psychology or the four sides of the mind. And the source of today's question is Quora. And specifically, some person asked me to do this particular one for them. And as a result, no one else has provided any answer. So I guess it's just me at this point. But hey, it is what it is. So let's just get right down to it, shall we? So, how do you get an impractical INFJ to get a job when they're just expecting that money's going to fall out of the sky for them because of someone they follow? Well, why is an INFJ actually doing this? Well, it's because of TE Trickster. As smart as TI Child God Complex would like to consider itself for those INFJs out there, INFJs have a huge weakness in the fact that they can believe just about any schlub on the street. And it's especially worse with INFJ women because they have this problem where they can love just about any jackass on the street too. So that can also be a problem for them because the ESTP vice of nymphomania comes and attacks their soul as a result, and that's what happens. But regardless, TE Trickster, because they don't really care that much about my status, my titles, all those things where people are like, oh, my reputation, all those, they just don't care so much. Mostly it's because they're completely unaware of it. They're unaware of how their actions have negative consequences for them in the reputation area. So, that's an issue, okay? So, based on that, I want you to understand how they have this weakness. They can believe just about anything. That's why you have INFJs telling you all about them fairies. They're always telling you about, they're most likely to end up becoming, getting involved in the occult. In fact, an old INFJ girlfriend of mine would cut herself and then take that blood and as a blood sacrifice and put it on some kind of amulet she made me, etc. And that was, totally hokey and freaky and whatnot and completely unnecessary. I also caught her cutting herself in a particular other situation, and I threw the knife away, and that was a very emotional time for us both. And eventually, because of her extroverted sensing, self-destructive behavior, I decided that she was someone I could no longer be loyal to, and I decided to move on quickly. That being said, INFJs, they have a problem where they can believe just about anyone, and the people that they end up believing are the most charlatan of all the types. That's right, the Alex Jones of the world, or the David Aspreys of the world. That's right, folks. The former Bulletproof CEO, I would like to say, is David Asprey, and he's been replaced since by Larry Bodner. Oddly enough, Larry Bodner is an INFP as well. And Bulletproof products basically suck because they just added a whole bunch of inulin to Bulletproof bars recently, and for some reason they think that's bulletproof for their customers. Bulletproof is nothing more than a brand, folks. I don't really recommend that company whatsoever. And besides, MCT oil can really damage your liver. I know because I almost lost my liver due to MCT oil. So be aware of those things first and foremost. That being said, David Asprey, he is an ENFP. And Alex Jones, he is an ENFP. The Prophet Muhammad, he's an ENFP. Joseph Smith of LDS is an ENFP. It's so interesting. We have all these ENFPs in these positions of power where they have this powerful voice and this power opinion, and those INFJs swallow that Kool-Aid hook, line, and sinker. Man. Yeah, that really sucks to be them. But, hey, they realize after a while just how much they believe these lies, and they don't even take the time to verify. Yet, just like Dorothy Gale and the Wizard of Oz, they had the power all along. And all they have to do is tap the heels of their ruby slippers and all of their issues will be solved. Provided they actually take the time to verify their beliefs. They spend all their time verifying everyone else's beliefs, but they don't take the time to verify their own beliefs. And that's one of the hypocritical ways of the INFJ Templar type, because Templars struggle with hypocrisy. Well, guess what? That's how they're hypocritical, because they spend so much time verifying everyone else's beliefs, but they won't take the time to verify their own, because for some reason they put so much faith and desire and willpower into people like Alex Jones or David Asprey. You know what I'm saying? it doesn't exactly help anybody. And I wouldn't recommend that for an INFJ whatsoever, because that stuff is like, TE child, that's very like, unverified. So like, here's the thing. So INFJs, how do you deal with that? You're going to have to like verify people. You're going to have to be willing to like nitpick the AF out of them. Like totally do it. Nitpick them consistently. Because if you're not going to do that, you're going to continue to be impractical and start believing these ENFP charlatans. And I'm not saying all ENFPs are charlatans. I'm saying that out of all the 16 types, ENFPs have the highest propensity of being charlatans. And as a result of that, and while ENTPs can appear charlatans, they have TI parents, and if their TI parents develop, they're like the most anti-charlatan out there. And ESTPs like to think that they're very anti-charlatan, but there's nothing more anti-charlatan than an ENTP, because it's very long and drawn out and very vengeful, whereas it's just more explosive and a one-time, one-off thing for an ESTP. Whereas there's a lot of stored up bitterness within the ENTP towards those ENFP charlatans, or any charlatan for that matter, which can cause some serious damage and ramifications for those people later in their life. I would know, because I've done that to ENFPs sometimes that I believe have deserved it because of the insane amount of harm that they've done to me personally. That being said, INFJs, you have to protect yourself from the charlatans. And, as this question would point out here on Quora and whatnot, what do you do with an impractical INFJ who won't get a job because money is going to fall out of the sky somehow according to someone they follow? That someone they follow is a charlatan. And guess what, INFJs? Out of all of the types, you are the most weak to charlatans. With ISFJs being second most weak, because guess what? They have TE trickster as well. The thing is, though, is that the charlatan has to be part of cultural tradition, like the Catholic Church, or church in that matter. That's just an example, some type of spiritual tradition. And if it's tradition for people to believe the charlatans, then the ISFJs will go along. But there don't need to be no tradition for an INFJ to believe said charlatans. And really, the only reason they're believing those charlatans to begin with is because they're not verifying the charlatans. If they go out of their way to verify and try to see, okay, who out there has been successful just like that person, right? Who's been successful here? Who's been successful here? Etc. Those people, they need to go out of their way to verify and see what other people are doing. Like, say, if a charlatan is trying to sell them some snake oil, for example, INFJs are definitely the people who would buy snake oil. But here's the thing. Like, if the INFJs go see if snake oil has actually helped out somebody else and has actually verified it and verified it multiple times, then they know that this is something that they want and they don't have to worry about it. But then again, if they find out that it's not, well, guess what? It's on the INFJ then to expose the charlatan. That's like literally what it's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? So make sure that you INFJs out there are going out to do this. Otherwise, you're going to waste so much of your life. And you imagine that that charlatan is loyal to you or something, or doing the right thing. No, they're not. They're taking you for everything you got. Gosh, TE tricksters are so weak to multi-level marketing or pyramid schemes. You guys are so weak at it. And it's so easy to target you. If I wanted to be successful at MLM, I'll just go out there and go find TE tricksters and TE demons. That's all I got to do. And then boom, my MLM is like going like crazy, and I'm cashing in, and no one else is making any money on my team because, again, they're TE tricksters. You see what I'm saying, folks? Like, it's not sustainable. It's not a sustainable way of living. Therefore, INFJs, you need to go out of your way to verify all and every single one of your beliefs in as much as you verify everyone else's beliefs, and actually spend the time to actually do the research and prove them incorrect. Because if you do not do this, well, then guess what? You're going to continue to feel worthless and continue to feel useless anyway. So instead of feeling worthless and useless, you can make yourself the most useful person in the world by literally verifying everything. Yeah, it can alienate people. Yeah, it can annoy people, but it's for their own good. And here's the thing. What right do they have to bitch about you if you're going out of your way to verify their crap for them so that they're not going to have a really bad life? You're actually improving them and making them stronger by verifying them and subjecting them to the fiery sword of truth, your tongue, and giving them a tongue lashing and criticizing them and nitpicking them so that they understand what exactly is true and what is exactly false. And guess what, folks? Your TI child, no one can do it better than you, provided you're actually spending the time to verify. So, If you'd like a chance of your question being answered on this channel, please post it on Quora and tag me or leave it as a comment below. If you would like a free copy of the type grid to assist you in typing yourself and others, please visit csjoseph.life/typegrid. Anyway, with all that being said, I'll see you guys tonight.